In this video, I did want to talk about, and I guarantee you have seen dozens of other videos about this, but you're watching this one, so you clearly have an interest in a discussion about talking about the downfall of Bethesda Game Studios, and I understand some people might disagree with this, and you're watching Fallout 76 gameplay. I will get into why in a minute. But this downfall of Bethesda isn't just Fallout 76 shit, Starfield was even fucking worse, Bethesda bad, Todd Howard bad, that would be lazy. No, instead, in this video, I want to talk about the downfall of Bethesda in a way from the entire structure of what the company is. 15 years ago, when they were still developing games like Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, beloved video games, they were less corporate, and in a situation now where ZeniMax Bethesda is owned under fucking Microsoft, of course they have to be more corporate. But in a situation where at every turn nowadays, every single decision Bethesda has made is for monetary reasons, and I understand because they're a corporation, but take a look 15, 20 years ago, they made decisions for the player. It didn't need to boost revenues, it didn't need to increase shareholder wealth, it was just for the player because it was the good thing to do. And in my opinion, over these past several years, they've dwindled from that idea. But MJ, of course they would dwindle from that idea. They're a corporation, they're out to make revenue. And after the massive, and I mean massive success of Fallout 4 making like $800 million in a weekend or something, like it was a huge game. Massive, and I don't even think Starfield has reached that success yet, mainly because Fallout 4 also released on the PS4 and had more platforms to spread to, and is also a known IP and brand. But the fucking second Bethesda and ZeniMax had any sort of massive success, they bought id Software, they bought Arcane, they bought Machine Games, they bought Tango, they went on a fucking buying spree, bigger than the fucking Activision Blizzard acquisition that Microsoft was buying on that scale. They were buying up beloved publishers under ZeniMax, and that is why ZeniMax was worth $7.5 billion when Microsoft was purchasing them. They had a huge IP gathering under one roof. Things like Doom, Dishonored, and even new IPs like Ghostwire Tokyo, Hi-Fi Rush, and now Deathloop, even though Hi-Fi is kind of under NetEase, I'm pretty sure now. But ZeniMax was huge after the acquisition of all those studios and after Fallout 4. They were at the billions of dollars made. They were on the pedigree of a lot of other big AAA studios in that way, even though Fallout 4 was only developed by around 100 people, so it was pretty fucking cheap to make probably. And unfortunately, after those acquisitions, the failures started setting in. Dishonored 2, fantastic game, did not meet sales expectations. Wolfenstein games, fucking amazing video games in my opinion. If you haven't played those games, definitely go play them. Didn't meet sales expectations. id Software, Doom 2016, success, Doom Eternal, an even bigger one. But that's one studio out of the several that they purchased. The Evil Within 2 by Tango Gameworks, yeah, critically acclaimed, didn't meet sales expectations. Even Arcane making Prey, a fantastic video game. One of the greatest first person like survival games in that sort of aspect I've ever played in my life. Didn't meet sales expectations unfortunately, and they had to cancel the second game. Honestly, Bethesda, they have a black mark on that. I understand for a corporate reason they had to cancel that game, but that shit would have been crazy. And then, of course, in a situation as a corporation, and now you have shareholders to appease to, and then, of course, now you've been making all those hundreds of millions of dollars, and now you have to explain to your investors, why the fuck are you not making that money anymore? Well, unfortunately, we are putting out high-quality single-player games, they're just not selling well. And that is no one to blame but ZeniMax and Bethesda. They either didn't market it well, or it just wasn't appeasing to a mass audience. They still sold millions of copies. They probably made a profit, but I guarantee they were expecting Fallout 4 sized releases every single time. And unfortunately, that is when they started pulling bullshit like the Wolfenstein co-op game that could have been good if it wasn't a grind fest. It could have had a decent story, could have been a bit fun with a buddy, but unfortunately as well, I remember playing it, I put that shit on easy because I just wanted to experience the story, you know? Fuck it, I won't really need to grind. It was still incredibly hard and the enemies were bullet spongy because they wanted you to grind every little fucking side quest or go spend money on real life or the currency they had in the game to just unlock everything easy. And then Fallout 76, I love the game. I have always had a liking to the game, but holy shit, let's not pretend that that wasn't a fucking shit show at launch. It wasn't. Not even towards the game itself, but towards Bethesda's actual standing in the industry. That put a black mark on the entire company as a whole. People weren't trusting ZeniMax. I guarantee investors were fucking mad. And even though Bethesda made millions of dollars and had millions of players at launch, everyone was pissed. And yes, there is that growing community right now, especially after the Fallout TV show, of 76 players. And if you have not played the game, even though I do have gripes with a lot of the things in 76, I think the content that's there is extremely high quality. Much higher quality than what we got from Bethesda Core this year with Shattered Space. How the fuck you were able to put out a fucking map expansion for Fallout 76 and it is exceedingly better than your paid $30 expansion? How do you let that happen? I'm being genuinely serious. How do you let your multiplayer team from Fallout 76, that gets maybe 10,000 players average, beat out Starfield's paid expansion? How? And if you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you know how much I hated that shit. I made like 4 videos on it. I was fucking mad. And I had that shit pre-ordered from the premium edition. I was pissed. I was agitated. My live stream finishing it went on to be like a 5-hour fucking rant about how bad it was. We live in a current day world where Starfield is being outplayed by Fallout 76, outsold, and has a higher rating on Steam. I know Starfield is a single player game and the comparison is kind of weird, but previous Bethesda entries that are single player have more players than 76 and Starfield. Starfield is a game that is only about over a year old and still cannot compete with 76 in terms of sales, rating, and players concurrently playing. Unbelievably disappointing. And I believe that the lack of quality and what the actual game was not only comes from Todd Howard and his creative decision to make planets barren and fucking empty, but also the lack of quality developers. And I know that sounds extremely bad to say, but I feel like Bethesda in these past few years has gone on a hiring spree. Compared to 2015 where they had about 100 developers core, they were structured. You didn't have to go through many things in order to get something done. You could just go to the second office, hey, we need this done, boom, it can get done. Now at Bethesda, that's a lot more corporate. They have to go through several different management teams. They have to check if that's okay, if this is okay. Previously, they were a pretty small team. They could do whatever the fuck they wanted. That's why those previous games were so well done, even though if they were buggy as shit. The quality bar on the bugginess and the performance was pretty low, but the content there was extremely solid. Starfield does not copy that. The launch, yes, your most polished game ever, but some of the worst content you have ever put out into a Bethesda core RPG. You have failed at what they set out to do there. And it gets extremely apparent when your Fallout 76 team that is in cooperation with a bunch of other really small, like, kind of outsourced development studios is able to put out a better quality update with Skyline Valley's 76 map expansion than your paid Starfield Shattered Space expansion. How your small 76 team that I guaranteed is basically just a skeleton crew compared to Shattered Space is probably earning more revenue on 76 than what Shattered Space earned, and is probably more beloved. And that's not even a probably, it is more beloved. People who played Skyline Valley were extremely more entertained and extremely more loving of that experience than the people who were playing Shattered Space. And just take a look at the new Gleaming Depths DLC raid for 76. It's awesome. In my opinion, it's great. In my opinion as well, I feel like 76 is able to continue with this quality content because the teams are small. They don't have to go through all the bullshit management in order to get something done. Their creative team is probably under 100 people, considering what I feel like would be for the development and upkeep of this game, probably closer to 50 to 70, at least what I feel like. That is why they're able to put out content that is high quality and content that is pretty fucking solid. The issues with monetization come at the corporate level. We need to monetize as many fucking things as possible because we need to be maximizing revenue. You can put out whatever content you want as long as those battle passes is there, as long as like every single fucking release of a big update since Wastelanders needs to have some sort of bundled package where you get some cosmetics for a full price game, but we're also going to bring the game of the price down to about 40 bucks, but then if you want that really cool fucking cosmetic like that power armor that looks really sick, give us $80 please. The downfall of Bethesda is because it became too corporate and because too many new developers entered without a lack of quality control. You cannot just hire people and expect them to do a good job, especially if you don't vet what they do. I guarantee a lot of people at Bethesda's core now are probably decently new to the industry, and all those people who were there have left. Even the people at the top, like Pete Hines, a lot of bigger developers, bigger known ones, like Jeff Gardner at Bethesda, who was a producer and producer for Fallout 4, and the main guy who was in charge of 76. He left a few years back. He made his own studio, taking some Bethesda studio employees with him. guaranteed they're probably making some sort of new game that's going to be at that quality bar of what we expect from Bethesda. You can't just hire new people and expect us to still call you Bethesda. The Bethesda of the old days is dead. It is. And it's the sad truth. And it's the same thing with many current day RPG makers and studios in general. These beloved names like BioWare, like Bethesda, like Blizzard, all those people that made those studios what they were at the quality bar that they were at, they're gone. And unfortunately, Bethesda is one of those studios. I understand completely that you could put into comparison if Starfield is a completely different fucking game. That is not what we wanted. We wanted a true to form Bethesda experience. They decided to experiment, and I respect them for that. But they failed. They chose the worst possible experimentation. I don't understand how they thought barren planets would be any fun. Oh, well, in space in real life it's like that. I'm not on the moon in real life, exploring some fucking rock. That would be a lot cooler if I could go to the moon in real life right now. Trust me, that would be exciting. I am playing a video game. I have run people down in video games. I have done some crazy shit in video games. Exploring a barren moon with a point of interest every 600 fucking meters is not something I want to do. I know this video turned into another rant about how shit Starfield is, and again, when it first came out, I was a heavy enjoyer of it. Over time, started to see a lot of the flaws with the game. Bethesda, you have had a massive downfall in the last several years. It's no secret. And under the Microsoft acquisition, I only thought they could get better. With more time and more cash injection, they could put more effort into the game. Look, your effort to Starfield was put into the wrong areas. Yes, decently kind of good looking game in some areas. Sometimes it looks really shit. Sometimes it can look downright drop dead gorgeous. Yes, graphical upgrades, loved. Performance, not that bad. Your content, the actual quality of the quests, the writing, the missions, awful compared to Fallout 4. Compared to Fallout 4, can't believe I'm saying that. Compared to Fallout 4, you fumbled it unbelievably hard. I don't understand how you were able to write better quests over a decade ago than you are just a year ago. And you want to know why? Because they're hiring new people. And I understand that. You cannot expect the same people to be working at a company forever, like Todd Howard. Todd Howard's been there since like the inception of Bethesda. He was there since they were making the hockey games, right? He's been there forever. He's probably going to be there till he retires. Loves that studio, loves the games that he makes there. Guaranteed. The issue is that you cannot expect all these new people that you don't train properly or that you think are going to be really fucking good and expect them to produce that same high quality content that players are going to enjoy from the games that we come to expect. We come to expect quality at the level of at least Fallout 4 at the bare fucking minimum, and you somehow went under that. And people hated Fallout 4. People still don't like it. I personally fucking love it, but how you can go under that for people is insane. Some people call Skyrim Bethesda's last amazing game. Some people will call Fallout 3 that. Some people go as far as to Morrowind when they were really into RPG development. And you know what? Some people might agree. I feel like they really fell off with Fallout 4. Of course, it was less RPG mechanics, less choice for the game, and then they really had a big comeback in my opinion with Far Harbor. Far Harbor should have been could be a mainline Fallout game. It 100% could have been. And then 76 came out. My thought process, look, multiplayer game, smaller studio, wasn't core Bethesda. Understandable. Starfield, holy fuck, decent game. Okay, you play it for a year? Okay, no, this is actually pretty bad. In short, Bethesda's expansive growth into purchasing other studios, Bethesda's expansive growth into hiring more developers that lack the same quality bar as your previous work is exactly why you are in a downfall span right now. And unless The Elder Scrolls 6 knocks it out of the fucking park in any and every inconceivable way, I'm talking every little bit, shit's gotta be bug free, your engine cannot be fucking busted anymore. I know modders love using it, but I'm sure you could move to a different engine and still make it moddable. I don't think it would be an issue. At this point, it's an excuse to not put in a higher amount of effort to move your teams to a new engine. I love Bethesda and want to see them succeed. But unfortunately, I can't support willingly what they're doing here. And yes, I probably will be buying the next Starfield expansion in order to review it and give my thoughts on it. Because I would expect them, especially after Shattered Space, to have some sort of fucking quality in their brain where they're like, hey, let's not put out dog shit. Let's put out something that's good, right? Maybe if we put out something that's good, we'll get high scores and high sales numbers, and we can actually show off the accolades to our big expansion. But all of that remains to be seen. If you did enjoy this video, or my fucking rant basically I just went on, consider leaving a like, sharing, commenting, and subscribing if you choose to. I am extremely passionate about Bethesda. I want them to succeed. I want them to put out the quality levels that we saw with Fallout 3, with Skyrim, with Fallout 4 in terms of writing and story and questing. I do not want them to put out content like Starfield and like Starfield Shattered Space. Again, how 76's map expansion was better still astounds me to this day. I had more enjoyment than that in Shattered Space. And when you make a free DLC update for a game that is barely surviving as of 3 years ago, better than your $40 paid expansion for one of the biggest games of 2023, you have just hit that straight fucking downfall spread there. You're done. You have one more chance, and your chance is probably with the next Starfield expansion, and I'm fucking scared about that. Thank you for watching the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.